there guys, it's Joey, and this week's Working a Witch is going to be a sort of VR to the Witchyversity, as they are looking at prosperity spells this week and addressing a few different questions. And I thought what I would do is use this Working Witch to incorporate Ogham work into prosperity spells and really talk about how I might set up a prosperity spell. And I'm actually incorporating something which is a little bit more new for me, which is a lodestone, which was a gift. And it's something that I have been mulling around for a little while now, actually getting a lodestone, and I got some lodestone food today. So I decided this was the perfect time to record the video, make it a VR and a discussion for Witchyversity, who are also discussing the money spells and prosperity spells, and show my take on it, and incorporating the Ogham, the druidic Celtic alphabet, which is how I do a lot of my spell work, incorporating the magic and energy of trees. It's a big Celtic theme. And for anybody whose nose is twitching about incorporating lodestones, because lodestones in modern practices tend to be associated with hoodoo over other practices. It's actually, the Celtic people believed that the lodestone was the compass of the Celts, and Celtic people used it as a journey to guide them, compass to guide them on their journeys, sorry. So that's interesting, and it kind of feeds into the Celtic theme, the Celtic idea. So I kind of like that. I mean, not that you can't incorporate bits and pieces from other strands of magic, it's just that some people really do not like it. I've just realised I was going to include some crystals, but I have forgotten. There they are. So you can see me popping crystals, right? So I'm going to actually be popping pyrite around the spell circle. I like pyrite a lot for magical workings of prosperity. It's probably my crystal of choice for money workings. That or moss agate. But given that we have quite a earthy tree energy already, I think we will stick with the pyrite. I will go with 9. There we go, just as intuition dictates. So, in front of me is a spell circle with a bowl, and inside the bowl is my lodestone on a base, and the base is made up of a herbal mixture of oak, ivy and bramble or blackthorn. And this would be the Ogham's Dwyer, Gort and Mowen. So Dwyer is oak, and Mowen is bramble or vine, and Gort is ivy. So the blend underneath is serving as the first circle. The bowl itself and the magic that pertains is the second circle, and of course the bowl is sat upon a spell disc, which makes the third circle. So we have a circle within a circle within a circle. The power of 3 being particularly potent within the Celtic mythos of life, death and rebirth. And I enjoy incorporating that into all of my spell work, not just prosperity work. That's why we have 9 pyrite crystals, 3 by 3. On the outside we have physical representations of each tree energy, and each of these have actually been wildcrafted by me personally. These aren't bought, these are things that I have had a relationship with, had a journey to accumulate. I don't think it matters as much within the herbal blend element, but I like having the wildcrafted bits in the outer circle. The outer circle is closest to spirit, although it's arguable, but that's just how it works within my framework in my head. And the incense has gone out. It's like you're talking too much. Shut up. Get on with it. Right. I'm not actually doing the spell on camera, so it's not a huge deal. Okay. While we're on that track, the incense I am burning is Ganesha's Luck by Nag Shampa. This is the shiz when it comes to financial increase with regards to a stick incense that you can purchase. It's amazing. Right. So I have the oak here with the acorn and wild ivy here, and you can't actually see, so we'll move it. And we have sticks of bramble, blackthorn up there. Moen is arguable between grape and blackberry bramble, and that's already on the channel as a video, so, but there you go. And so I have the incense going. I also have a spell candle here, and I have engraved a Ogham binding, which is the same Ogham binding as I have put on this piece of paper. So the Ogham binding is the same 3 Ogham, Dwyer, Gort and Moen, in gold on a green background. Green and gold being 2 colours within colour magic for financial gain, for prosperity. The spell candle over here, I guess we can move up a minute, is green. I usually prefer gold. I have run out of that size of gold. I have the big gold, I have the little gold, I don't have the medium gold, but there you go. But I have engraved this onto that candle, and I have then anointed the candle towards me to bring financial gains towards me with my spell oil of financial choice that I make, Luck of the Blood, and you can buy this on my store if you so wish. But there you go. Right, so that is a spell candle just to help focus the intent slightly, just to help us with extra sort of manifestation. So the idea behind the setup is that you are incorporating 3 tree or Ogham, because technically Moen's a vine rather than, and so is Gort, to increase financial gains. Oak is perhaps the big daddy of financial Ogham. It's very much centred in the home and the hearth, and it is the Ogham of deep roots. That's how it came to me in meditation. That's something that I say, something that I came up with. It's my understanding of the Ogham Dwyer, and it's very much about being grounded and rooted in one place, and therefore it makes financial abundance to your home, and increasing your standings in terms of your financial wealth and prosperity and abundance within a hearth setting deeply significant, deeply rooted in an earth-based energy. It's very earthy, and it just really draws things to it. Oak has a regal sovereignty element, which is usually associated with being financially well off as well, and at least abundant. For in the Celtic mythos, you could only stay king or queen if you had a good relationship to the land, so the land had to be abundant and fertile in order for the sovereign to keep hold of their sovereignty. So it has that abundance element there as well. The second one being Gort, which is interesting because I went to write down Moen second and Gort was like, nope, and like came through instead, and I was like, okay. And Gort has this persistence. Gort has the ability to get through anything. It will break down barriers. If left unchecked, ivy can destroy houses. It has this incredible breaking down barriers energy. It has the persistence, the will, and the drive to aid an element to prosperity spells, which means that yes, you're doing a spell for prosperity, but you are going to have to go out there and have the drive and the will to accumulate. So you have to be in on it as well, and it kind of pulls you into the spell work. It also makes sure that your spell is persistent, that it keeps going and keeps growing and keeps spiraling upwards. And finally, Moen or Bramble is a sort of celebratory harvest Ogham, and therefore it kind of makes it sense that it's in the final position, because it basically is the final cycle. The third element is a harvest of financial prosperity, of abundance, of wealth. So then I would take the little Ogham binding that I have drawn and fold it by 3. And if you so wish it, you can anoint it with a little more of your spell oil of choice. And you would say your words over it. Now, how you address the vocal part of the spell work here, once you have folded it up and anointed it 3 times, is entirely up to you. You can just be saying I'm just going to circle it in incense smoke clockwise, just for added magical workings. That's my magic noise, there you go. So you could just say the Ogham's names 3 by 3 times, so you could, say each one 3 times. You could call on the energy of each particular Ogham to assist you in your magical workings. Praise be to the spirit of oak, oak of the deep roots. I call upon thee, fill my working with financial gain and help me to root it in reality. So that's just something I've made up on the spot. Something like that, and then you can do that for each. So then we're going to move the lodestone out, and we're going to place that within the herbal mixture. So the herbal mixture is a mixture of oak bark, ivy leaf, and bramble leaf. No thorn in the herbal blend. You don't want to put thorns in your financial situation. So you will have mixed that previously. Prior to having done this, you will put that in there, and you will have blessed it or imbued it, or however you invoke the energies into a herbal blend. And then you place your piece of paper in, and you place your lodestone on top. Voila. So you would light your candle, your spell candle. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to do that the spell on camera. So you would light your candle, again invoking the energies of each Ogham, by oak, by ivy, by vine. And so then you have created this space of magical transition. It becomes a circle within a circle within a circle. It embodies life, death, and rebirth. And this works in all forms of magic. In order that we be born, we must die, and then we will be reborn. In order for us to die, we must first be birthed. So you incorporate these energies into spell work, such as financial work, such as the birth element is the birth of the idea, the need, the request. This birthing element is the situation at hand and why you require financial increase, wealth and abundance. The death element is brought in to put to death the energies which are blocking your abundance, or that are a negative emotional side effect of the financial problem or the situation, which is a blockage and is holding you back. And then the rebirth is the next step, is what will come from the end result of the magic. And that's why we have a circle within a circle within a circle, and embrace the energies of 3 by 3. So then you are going to feed your lodestone. And I got some of the lodestone food. Lodestones are fed with iron filings on a regular basis, particularly when used in charm bags. So then, in a clockwise direction, you feed your lodestone. And if you wish to say more words over it, and if you wish to hold your lodestone prior to, it's up to you, and fill it with your good intentions and connect to the energy of the lodestone and request its help, or you can just do that while you're feeding it and request the aid of the lodestone, the Celtic compass. Help me on my journey. As I feed you, please feed me. Help it to become a symbiosis. Help us to be joined and connected in balance. As you gain, so may I gain, so mote it be. There you go, off the top of my head. I'm a witch, can you tell? Now I sound like Rumpelstiltskin. Okay. Right, yes, anyway, moving on swiftly from that idea. Too much once upon a time. Anyway, right. And that there is your spell, is your spell work. And it's embracing a Celtic ideal. So it's a bit of a Celtic spin on the usual spellwork that you may or may not see. There is a lot of spellwork which is rooted in hoodoo, which is really interesting, and I always enjoy watching and listening about it because it's not something I practice. But there are similarities across the board, and obviously incorporating pyrite is probably a slight sidestep from what many Celtic practitioners might use, but I enjoy pyrite so much, so I think it adds a little bit more of that regal sovereignty that I was talking about in Celtic Mythos, the connection of land to abundance. And so you are basically asking for all of your lands to be abundant and help you as the sovereign of your lands be abundant. And it's not so much that you may have land, it's just land in a sort of symbolic sense. So I'm going to round up the video with just finishing some questions. There is answering some questions. There is an idea within financial gain that you will only ever gain what you need, not what you want. And I think that tends to be the natural state of things within the universe. I think it's appropriate to request the financial abundance that you need and the monies that you need, and have a clear goal in mind. And that can just help with the spell work even on a personal level, because if you're asking for something abstract, it's less direct and less focused than if you asked for something, I need X amount of money to afford to pay the rent this month. That's a very desperate need. There's a big draw on the internal side. Your emotions are keyed into that need. You absolutely need to pay that, and then that energy flows through the spell. It becomes much more connected to you than, oh, I would maybe like some money for the mama. And it really gives the spell a focus. And your drive is, of course, what drives the spell. As for as for the fear that comes from the idea that if you're not really specific, someone is gonna lose out, and there's all these sort of moral conundrums with regards to financial magic. It's interesting because I think we talk about financial and abundance, and there's automatically an idea that of greed and selfishness comes into it. And I think that the tools you have available to you are the tools that you utilize. In going for a job interview and doing the very best you can in a job interview, you might deprive someone else of that job, but that's not something that people will say, well, you better not perform well in a job interview in order to get that job. In circumstances like that, it's impossible to know all the where-tos and why-fors, and basically you have to trust that the universe knows in that situation what is ultimately best for the end situation of all involved. Presumably that person who didn't get the job could then find a job better suited for them, a company that is more in key with them. It's impossible to know, is what I'm saying, and as long as you're not going in with malicious intent, it's an odd thing that human beings attach this great guilt trip to abundance, magic and wealth. I mean, you know in your heart what you need, and spell work is very much attached to that need, as far as I'm concerned. Right, so that's going to be it for this spell setup. I hope you enjoyed this week's Working Witch. Many blessings.